ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया
Jnananjanasalakaya
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम् हरे कृष्ण. So, does anyone have any questions from this chapter so far? Is the flow of the chapter clear? What was the question asked by Arjun at the opening or at the beginning of this chapter? The first question that he asked. Let's see who can tell me. I will not go forward unless I get an answer. We will stop the class. So somebody will have to either look up and tell me or raise their hand. Other than Nagarjun Prabhu. So Namita Mataji, Ramchandra Prabhu, Mom, Mama, Devansh Prabhu.
Sorry, Mataji. What is the question, Mataji?
What is the question that Arjun asked? What is the first verse of this chapter? What was the question that Arjun asked from Krishna in this chapter? We are discussing Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness.
Mataji, I
Yes.
missed that class, but I think I can. I've been reading a little bit, so he's asking them to tell him which one is beneficial, work with devotion or the renounced work. Which he's asking Krishna, tell me which among both of those which is more beneficial.
So can you say it in your words, Mataji? Say that again.
Yes. So as we are so entangled in this material world, he's asking him to explain like
What is the confusion between, what are the two things he's confused about?
to recommend like to do work with devotion, and the second is to do work like with or or work with
Who can help out, Mataji?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Doing the work and it's not tyagam, what you say as sacrifice the karma. Sacrifice the karma or doing the karma.
With sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yeah.
Okay. So Mataji, now can you tell me?
Yeah, so he's saying like should I do work with devotion or with or knowing or with knowledge, right?
No.
Mataji, can I try?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, I think so. Arjun asks Krishna, like initially you told me to work with sacrifice, and in this chapter, the question begins from Arjun. And now, first you told me to work with sacrifice, and now you are telling me to work with devotion. And there is a confusion of what approach should I
No, what do
take?
you mean by work with sacrifice? Work with sacrifice or work with devotion is the same thing. Sacrifice or devotion is same thing. Love, sacrifice, devotion. When you love someone, you sacrifice. You are devoted to them, right? Like a mother, she loves her child, so she sacrifices. She is devoted. So love, devotion, sacrifice, gratitude, yagya, yoga, all these are basically interchangeable terms, right?
Mataji, renunciation. I guess I misspelled the word, misspoke the word renunciation. Working with
Let's say you're
renunciation.
speaking to a layman who does not know the meaning of renunciation or sacrifice. How could you? So, what is the confusion Arjun has right from the very beginning? He's trying to run away from the
Mataji,
battlefield, right?
You
Yes.
just explain it with context to not us. Let's just start with what is it for Arjun? What is he saying to Krishna? What should he do?
I think I got it, Mataji.
Yeah.
Can I try?
Yes.
So I think he's saying, should I not work at all, or should I work with whatever knowledge I have so far? Like, or should I not work at all? Is the,
Yeah, knowledge is not needed, Mataji. So, should I give up work, leave work,
yes,
or work
or
with sacrifice, work with
sacrifice,
devotion, work with love
right?
for you, right? So basically, the confusion is between not doing work or working with renunciation. So renouncing work or working with renunciation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the confusion. So then what was the answer Krishna gave? In the next verse, already Krishna gave the answer very clearly, unequivocal answer. There is no confusion about Krishna's answer. What was the answer? Which should he give up work or should he work with renunciation? So now, let's see. Devansh Prabhu, now you can. So what was
Yes,
Krishna's answer?
Mataji. He recommended to work with renunciation, not give up the work.
Yes, exactly. So he said both can lead to liberation, but renouncing work or giving up work is meant for certain types of people, for certain class of people, certain social or spiritual order are allowed to give up work. It's hard otherwise. It's difficult. So they can get liberation like that, but I recommend that you keep working with renunciation. So work with sacrifice, and that is karma yoga, right? So karma yoga is working with renunciation or working with sacrifice. So this is where the chapter opened. Okay, so I hope now everybody's clear, and I'm hoping that everybody can say these things, verbalize these things also, so that you're clear about the concepts of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is very clear. There is no confusion. So we don't need to get confused about any of the concepts. The concepts are very clear. If there is any confusion, it may be caused by me, but it's not caused by Krishna. It's not caused by Prabhupada. So please clarify any confusion in words, in terminologies, or anything. But it's very clear. He's asking, should I give up work or should I work with sacrifice? Continue working, but in the spirit of sacrifice, or you can say spirit of renunciation. So easy way to say this is, should I renounce work or should I work with spirit of renunciation? Okay. हिंदी में बोल रही हूँ, so please bear with me. काम को त्याग दूं या काम त्याग की भावना से करना है, right? So working with spirit of tyag or spirit of renunciation is recommended, not tyag of काम, not sacrifice of work is not needed.
Yeah, I
So
think it
then,
makes more sense in Hindi, Mataji.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there is always, I know, a little bit of language gap also. But I'm hoping that as we keep reading, this type of language will also become part and parcel of your regular verbiage. Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita his books are extraordinary. So even so-called intellectual people are flummoxed when they read this language because it is, especially his gurus, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's language, it's very, very advanced. And so-called people that think that they're very advanced in this world because they know so much English, or even they are very confused when they read. But this language is scriptural language. So slowly we will cultivate that kind of language also. Okay, so then the Bhagavad Gita says, so then Krishna says, okay, you should work with the spirit of renunciation or in karma yoga, and you should not be too attached to the fruits of your activities, right? You should not neither despise them or love them, neither hate them or desire them. So you should not be very attached to what you get. Whatever you do in the course of your duty, in the course of your responsibilities, some result will come. Okay, don't worry too much about the results. Whatever result comes, is just tolerate it. It may be good, it may be bad. Either way, just tolerate. Don't be too attached to the results. Just work with the spirit of renunciation. Only your action should be pleasing, should be satisfying to me, should be done for service of me. In the middle, Krishna talked a little bit about Sankhya Yoga also. I will not go into that. We have already discussed that in the past. Then Krishna says that people who renounce their activities, who work with this spirit of sacrifice, they are always happy. Okay, they're always peaceful. They are always engaged in my thoughts, and they can achieve the supreme without delay. So renouncing work is a very difficult path. It's very hard. It takes a lot of effort. Okay. There is no engagement of senses there. Our mind, our intelligence is not engaged in anything. So it's very difficult to give up work. Okay. That is not recommended for ordinary people. For normal people like us, it is recommended to work with the spirit of sacrifice. And when you work like that, you will always be peaceful. You will always be joyful because you're not attached to the results and you're working for my satisfaction. So you will achieve me without delay. So this process is much faster. And such a person, Krishna keeps calling him Yog Yukta. Yog Yukt means who is attached to the yoga, who is attached to the Karma Yoga. So who is always absorbed, his actions are always absorbed in satisfaction of Supreme, in service of Supreme. Such a person is Yog Yukta. So such a person gradually gets purified and he becomes dear to everyone. He becomes a pure soul. And he never gets entangled. So Krishna now gives a lot of benefits of this karma yoga, that such a person will never get any reactions, positive or negative reactions. He will not get any of those. Okay. And such a person is becomes a learned person. He knows that the soul is just sitting inside this cage, this city of 9 gates. Anybody remembers this analogy, the city of 9 gates? Can somebody tell me what does that mean? City of 9 gates means what? Let me see.
Or nine holes, 9 randhras with body. Correct.
Yes. So city of 9 gates is referring to body, and 9 gates are referring to the dwars, the openings, the orifices, the sense organs through which we perceive this world.
So
Right?
in Hindi also Randhra, in Telugu, Randhra we are talking as
Yes,
a
Prabhu, Randhra. Yes.
yeah.
Randhra means opening or orifices. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randhra is a Sanskrit word and may also be in Telugu, a Sanskrit word for opening. Any orifice is called Randhra. So yeah, so 9 Randhras, openings or orifices, the sense organs through which one perceives this world. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, this is 6, 1 mouth, 7, 1 genitalia, 8, and then the organs of evacuation, 9, okay, for urine and stool, so 9. Like that, there are 9 organs or sense organs through which the working senses and the knowledge acquiring senses. There are 2 types of sense organs or senses. Working senses, karmendriya, and knowledge acquiring senses are jnanendriya. So through these working senses and knowledge acquiring senses, we perceive this world. Okay. So these 9 gates are present in this city. And who is the master of this city? The soul. The jiva is the master of this city. Okay. So the soul is just living inside this city, and the learned person knows that actually soul has nothing to do with anything. It does not do anything at all. It's only the sense organs that are attached to doing so many actions, so many activities. They want to sleep, they want to eat, they want to hear, they want to read, they want to walk, they want to go places. All these things are happening because of sense perception, because of senses. And the soul is just giving in to the demands of the senses. The soul has nothing to do with the body or with the world, but soul is trapped within the body, and soul just gives into the urges of the senses. Whatever senses demand from us, we just give into it and just start listening to whatever or watching whatever or speaking whatever, even like that. So we start putting things inside the body, eating whatever, right? Things that are not good for the body. But senses pose a demand and the soul complies. Soul gives into it. So soul has nothing to do with the body otherwise. So the learned person knows all this. Then Krishna continues talking about a karma yogi, a yogi who has no attachment in this world. He's not attached to the fruits of the results. He's just doing actions for my pleasure. So such a person uses his body, mind, senses, intelligence, everything for the purpose of purification. This is verse 11. Krishna says, yogi abandoning attachment acts with the body, mind, intelligence, and senses only for the purpose of purification. So, which means that all these things that people are doing, he does not do those things. He understands that the body, mind, intelligence, the senses, they are just posing a lot of urges on me. Okay, they are urging me to do this, do that, hear this, hear that, eat this, eat that, go there, go, all these things. I do not need to do that. I need to use these for my purification. I am not their servant. They are my servant. Ordinary person is the servant of body, mind, intelligence. But the learned person who is engaged in karma yoga, who is a yogi, who is a yog yukt person, knows that he is not the servant of this body, mind, intelligence. They are the parts of this body. He is the master of this city of 9 gates. He needs to make them work for him, not that he works for them. So he uses these things for his purification, for his gradual purification. That's why, for example, a devotee will very carefully use his senses, what he watches, what he hears, what he speaks, what he eats, where he goes, all these things, which people he meets with, and all these things he very carefully regulates, because we talked about garbage in, garbage out principle. So we don't want to put garbage in the body. And learned person knows this. So he uses this body and these senses for purification, not to get entangled, not to get contaminated. Other people are getting entangled and contaminated more and more by giving into the demands. So then Krishna also gave this analogy of a lotus living in the water without being touched by the water. So again, same thing, learned person lives like that. He's like a lotus leaf or lotus who is not touched by the muddy water. So living in this body, knowing that the body will pose a lot of demands, but not giving into those demands. Living in the world, knowing that the world will put a lot of demands and expectations on you. They want you to do this, earn this much money, do this much work, or have this car or this type of house, and then they will call you successful, or then they will glorify you or appreciate you. All kinds of things you will hear, but he does not let that affect him. So he very carefully protects himself, but stays untouched by the muddy water of the body or this world. This was up till 11th. Then Krishna said, so this is a steadily devoted soul, a yog yukt person. He achieves unadulterated peace, meaning complete shanti, complete shanti. He is very peaceful because he gives up all the results of his activities to me. So this verse says, the steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. So Krishna is basically rounding up this discussion, saying that a yog-yukt person is not attached to the fruits. His actions are completely done for my will, for my satisfaction, for my service, in a spirit of sacrifice. Please note, I'm using all these words so you understand that they're interchangeable words. Okay, they're basically synonyms. Whether you call it service, whether you call it renunciation, you call it sacrifice. For now, we are using them as synonyms, interchangeable words. Okay, whether you call it tyag, you can call it love, you can call it pleasing the Lord, you can call it satisfaction of Supreme. All this is the same thing for now. Okay, the karma yogi, yog yukt person is working in this type of mindset, and so he's never entangled, he's always at peace. But ordinary person who is greedy for the fruits of labor, very conscious about plus, minus, loss, gains, calculating each and everything. So they will be very anxious until that their desired result comes, the so-called positive, successful result comes. Until then, they will be very anxious. And when that result comes, they will be so puffed up. Look, I made this happen, right? I'm the doer. So they become very puffed up, very taking all the credit, claiming all the victory of that successful result for themselves. But when the negative result comes, the result is not desirable, not what they wanted, then they become equally morose, disappointed, completely down, discouraged, and disappointed. So that leads to depression and all this. So this is we talked about, this is the formula of peace. Ultimate formula of peace is in the last verse of this chapter. Then Krishna said that the last verse that we discussed is, we were talking about the three doers. You should not think you are the doer, okay? Because when you get this body, you are controlled by a swabhav, or by the nature, by a nature that you are given, by some qualities that you are assigned. Like some people are more ambitious, some people are more laid back, more sober, some people are very active, very energetic, or they want a lot of money. They may want a lot of name and fame in this world. Some people are more have more peaceful pursuits, like they may just like to read and write, and so they may have some more uh, intellectual pursuits, let's say. Or somebody may be more interested in, let's say, sports. Somebody has more business minded type of tendency. Somebody likes to teach, somebody likes to debate or argue. So like that, people have different swabhav. Okay, so they're controlled by, so that swabhav is also external. It's not because of the soul. The soul is again aloof from all this. But when soul gets a body, because of their previous lives or previous actions, the soul gets a body, and that body has a certain swabhav. Okay, it is controlled by certain modes or gunas of this material nature. How many gunas are there? How many gunas of material nature are there? Who knows?
3 gunas, Mataji.
3 gunas.
Yeah.
Can somebody name them?
Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance.
Yes. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So goodness is satoguna.
Sattvagun.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sattvagun, Tamagun is mode of bad or negative, and then Rajas Gun is the mode of desire.
Yes. Yes, perfect. So yeah, mode of so tamoguna is mode of ignorance, or you said like something somewhat negative, something less desirable. It's the lowest mode of ignorance, typically called. And the mode of passion, like where there are a lot of desires, like you were saying, desires or mode of passion, is rajoguna. So rajas. So sattva, tamas, and sattva, rajas, and tamas. Hierarchy is that sattva guna is considered the topmost mode of goodness. Rajoguna or mode of passion is considered the middle one, and the lowest is the mode of ignorance or tamoguna. So this is the hierarchy, but these are the three chains with which the material nature or prakriti controls the body, controls the jiva. So when jiva gets a body, the body is controlled by these three chains. Okay. Mode of goodness is the best type of chain, but it is also a chain. So it is compared to like a gold chain, let's say. Mode of passion is also a chain or a rope that's binding us, that's controlling us, but it is called a silver chain, let's say. And the mode of ignorance is the lowest mode to be in. It's the most negative type of guna to be controlled by, but this is compared to like a iron chain. Okay, so these are the three ropes that bind us. Some people are more in mode of goodness, some are more in mode of passion, some are more in mode of ignorance. So we are controlled by three modes, but all people, all jivas who come to this world are controlled by the three modes in to a different extent. Okay, and even during the day and during their life, the mode that controls them keeps changing. Like in early morning, most people are in mode of goodness. By night, people are very lethargic, maybe irritable, maybe very tired, they're not very energetic, they don't want to do anything, so that is like mode of ignorance. In the middle, afternoon is considered like very energetic time, people are very active, they're doing a lot of things, so it is compared to like mode of passion. Anything in this world is controlled by three modes. So various things are in, like our foods can be in three modes, people's personalities and nature can be in three modes, the way you do something can be in three modes, the time of days can be in three modes, the uh, jobs can be in three modes, the places you go to where you travel can be in three modes, different animals can be in three modes. So like that, everything can be divided into three modes. Okay. So most commonly we talk about food being sattvic versus tamasic versus rajasic, right? So tamasic food would be like intoxicants or meats or liquor, alcohol, or something that is very harmful for the body will be typically tamasic. So tamasic or mode of ignorance we try to avoid as much as possible. Our hobbies, our habits can be in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance also. The mode of goodness is the highest mode to be in, satoguna, but we try to stay in mode of goodness as much as possible. Although as devotees, we understand that we have to break free of all three ropes. We have to break free from not only ignorance, but also passion and goodness and go into transcendence. Liberation is not possible until you are in control of these three modes. So transcendence means beyond these three modes. That's why Lord is always transcendental. Pure devotees are always transcendental. And we are trying to stay as much as in mode of goodness. So mode of ignorance we completely avoid. As sadhakas, as spiritualists, we avoid mode of ignorance completely. Mode of passion we use to the extent that it helps us. Only to that extent we engage mode of passion in the service. Mode of goodness we try to situate in as much as possible, but ultimate goal is to go into transcendence. Okay. So in the last verse, Krishna said that the embodied living being controls his nature. So he will control which nature he is in, right? So we're trying to control and trying to stay in mode of goodness. And mentally renounces all actions. He happily resides in the city of nine gates, neither working nor causing the work to be done. This is the last verse we read. Sorry, long recap, but I thought it was needed. We may be able to just do a couple verses today. Try. Is that okay? These
Yes, ma'am.
verses are just continuing on the same understanding that how the soul has nothing to do. Soul is just situated in this body. Let's read this one, 5.14. Na kartritvam na karmani. Na kartritvam na karmani. Lokasya srijati prabhu. Lokasya
Lokasya
srijati
Srijati Prabhu.
Lokasya, sorry, na karma phala samyogam, na
Na
karma
karma
कर्म
phala
फल
phala
संयोगम
samyogam.
swabhavastu pravartate.
Swabhavastu
स्वभावस्तु
pravartate.
निवर्तते.
Can somebody read this?
I can read.
Yes.
Translation. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature.
Let me just show the Sanskrit. So, na kartritvam. So, neither he does anything, na karmani, no, does not create activities. Lokasya srijati prabhu, and he does not induce people to act. So basically, he's saying that soul has nothing to do with anything. Soul is not actually doing anything. Okay. Na karma phala samyogam. Neither he is the result of activities. Swabhavastu pravartate. Everything is happening because of the swabhav. So that's why I wanted to discuss about the swabhav, the nature or the guna karma. Swabhav means the nature that one has acquired by being controlled by the three modes. Okay, so the three modes of material nature has given us some swabhav or some qualities, some gunas, some nature. Okay, that swabhav is what is causing everything to happen. So all this is enacted by the modes of material nature, by the three modes, or by the swabhav caused by the three modes. So the soul otherwise is the does not do anything, does not create any activities. Let's read this. Can you continue? Go ahead, Mom. You can read the
The
purport.
living entity, as will be explained in the 7th chapter, is one of the energies or natures of the Supreme Lord, but is distinct from matter, which is another nature called inferior of the material dwelling place which
Of the
he
Lord.
of the Lord. Somehow the superior nature, the living entity, has been in contact with material nature since time immemorial. The temporal body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. Living in such a conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body or by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance, sorry, it is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of the bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he is in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it, but actually, he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. He is simply in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence. The waves of the ocean are tossing him, and he has no control over them. His best solution is to get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. This alone will save him from all turmoil. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think we discussed all this. Just focusing on this line, the temporary body or material dwelling place is which he obtains. So soul obtained this body, right? He obtained this temporary body, this dwelling place, this city of 9 gates to live. For now, for this life, he got this body. As this body is the cause of variety of activities. Okay, this is why he's doing so many things. He thinks he's this body, and then to feed it, to maintain it, to for many things, and whatever swabhav the body gave him. For all those reasons, he's doing so many things, and then he's suffering the resultant reactions. So soul had nothing to do with this body, but by getting captured within the body, by being engaged within the body, now he's helplessly forced to fulfill the demands of the body. So he's doing all these activities and now suffering the reactions. So this is called conditioning. He's living in this conditional atmosphere for ages, okay, for many lifetimes. He has been identifying himself with the body. So as soon as he gets the next body, he starts identifying with that next body, and he starts performing activities according to that body. Like right now, I'm in this human body, I'm in a female body. I identify myself with myself as I think I'm a female, so accordingly I do things. All my life I'll spend doing those things, right? Then I think that I am, let's say Indian, or let's say I think that I belong to Tennessee. So I'm, so many conditionings or designations that I have, and I spend every day doing those things. Like as a doctor, I do so many things. Then when I get the next body, let's say I get a body of, I don't know, a cat. So now immediately I'll start identifying as a cat, and now my conditioning will be, now I will start chasing rats, because that's the swabhav of the cat. So the cat, as a cat, whatever cat does, you start doing that. If you become a squirrel, that whatever body you get, you start identifying with that body, you get the nature or swabhav of that body, and helplessly you start doing those things that that body demands from you, right? So this is called basically from ignorance. So you keep going, staying in ignorance, and you keep suffering the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself. So Prabhupada is saying one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself with the body. So as animal, of course, like we were discussing yesterday, the layer of ignorance, remember we talked about layer of ignorance being very thick on animals. So animals cannot be shaken up to get awake. They cannot be told that, hey, you are the soul, you are not a cat, you are not an elephant, you are not a lion, you're not a snake. They can't wake up to that reality. They do not have that self-realization potential. The layer of ignorance is just too thick. The consciousness is buried deep, deep inside. The real consciousness is buried deep within. So impurities are too much. But as human beings, we have very high, very acute, very well developed consciousness, and we can easily wake up. So we can be woken up to this reality that we are not this body. And that's why we say over and over again that human body is the chance. In other bodies, you will be helplessly stuck. You will have no choice but to chase after a rat or to chase after walnuts as a squirrel. You will not have a choice. You will be helplessly stuck in that body, and that's the future that's awaiting you if you do not wake up in human body. In human life is the chance to wake up and take self realization, understand that I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and stop catering just to the body. We're not saying to ignore the body. We are saying to stop catering just to the demands of the body, but wake up to the demands of the soul, the needs, not the demands, the needs of the soul. Understand that soul is what needs to be taken care of, and it needs to be freed of this cycle of birth and death before we are stuck in another body where the ignorance is much more. And even getting another human body is not a guarantee that you will, it's possible that you again go into ignorance pretty deep. You do not get any chances to elevate yourself again. So we just don't need to take those risks. So in this human body, we have come in connection with the devotees, with Bhagavad Gita, with the knowledge of self-realization. So we really need to just wake up. I mean, the alarm has been going off for a while now. So it will be very foolish to keep sleeping away again and again, going back into bodily conception and bodily consciousness over and over again. So the alarm is going off. Let's wake up. Let's hear the, call of Krishna and respond. So this is what Prabhupada is saying, that the jiva is just helplessly suffering because of the ignorance, and this is going on from time immemorial. That is the cause of the bodily suffering and distress. So then it helplessly does things, and then it suffers those reactions. So as soon as living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, so as soon as you decide, okay, hey, I'm not this body, let me detach a little. That's what I was saying yesterday. Practice some discomfort, practice some detachment. You don't need to just make your body so much comfortable, always catering to its demands. Whatever it wants, you give it. You don't have to do that. Become aloof from the activities of the body. Become its master, not its slave. Then he becomes free from the reactions as well. So this is called mental endurance. This is called endurance. This is called strength. The spiritual strength where you can get over the demands of the body. And people, always complain, why do we have to fast and all this? Well, this is just one more opportunity to get over the demands of the body. So, otherwise, Prabhupada is saying what is happening is that people are just stuck in the midst of the material ocean, struggling for existence, and the waves of the ocean are just tossing him. He has no control over anything. He's just being tossed about from one body to another, from one, whatever mode of nature controls it, it allows itself to control. He does not understand that he has control. Soul has control. Soul can decide, even within this life, we can decide to stay in mode of goodness as much as possible. We don't need to give into mode of ignorance is pulling its rope. Don't give in to the pull. Don't allow it to pull. So just stay in mode of goodness and use mode of passion to the spiritual benefit as much as possible. So those are some of the thoughts here, that embodied spirit should understand that the actions that it is doing is enacted by the swabhav, by the three modes of material nature. So that's one of the doers. Let's do one more. 15. Nadate kasyachit papam. Nadate kasyachit papam. Na chaiva sukritam vibhu.
Na
Na
chaiva
chaiva
sukritam
sukritam
vibhu.
vibhu.
Ajnanena vritam jnanam.
Ajnanena vritam
Vritam
jnanam.
jnanam.
Tena muhyanti jantava.
Tena
Tena
muryanti
Yanti
jantavaha.
jantavaha.
Can somebody read the translation?
I can read it, Mataji.
Yes.
Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge.
Now Krishna has changed the topic a little. Now Krishna will start talking about the real knowledge. Okay. So he was talking about working with renunciation. Okay. He was talking about such people who work in this spirit of renunciation, what benefits they get, right? How they never get entangled, they're always peaceful, all those things. And he talked about that such people become learned and they understand their position within this body, that they're supposed to be the master of the city of nine gates and use the body in service. And otherwise, there is no action meant for the soul, and all the actions are being done by the body. So, better do those actions for service of Krishna in yoga, in becoming yogyukt. This was the understanding so far. Now, Krishna is changing the topic a little. He's now talking about himself. He's talking about the Supreme Lord. What is his position? If you have noticed, I don't know if you have noticed the trend. This happened in second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, and now fifth chapter, where Krishna gives us the understanding about ordinary people, and then he gives understanding about himself. Okay. So I know that Bhakti Yoga chapter starts from 7th chapter. 7th to 12th are the Bhakti Yoga chapters. But even before that, if you're very carefully paying attention to Bhagavad Gita, you will see that Krishna always gives contrast with himself. Like in third chapter, Krishna said how one should be working for sacrifice, how one should be working. And he says that even when I come, I engage in some kind of work to set an example. So he always talks about himself. In fourth chapter, he talked about how other people forget the past, present, future, but I always remember everything. And I gave this knowledge to the sun god. And it is my appearance, my activities that you should be talking about, not the activities and things of this world, of the people of this world. Don't need to talk so much about the people. Talk about me. So he always gives contrast about what people are supposed to do and what his position is, and he does. Okay. So nobody can say that Krishna can be bound by karma, or nobody can say that Krishna is not transcendental, because Krishna very clearly gives his own position in contrast to that of ordinary jiva. And I've relished this lately, and I've thought this was so amazing that Krishna knew that ordinary people will have this tendency to compare with him. Like, for example, you know how we were talking about his marriage with Radharani yesterday. So, I mean, we always try to impose rules or laws on Krishna, or like ordinary people would blaspheme him for stealing butter or stealing clothes of gopis, which to devotees are completely very, very loving, endearing, such they take your heart away. He steals your heart with those pastimes, and ordinary people blaspheme him for that. So he knew that there will be tendency of when he's telling people to do something, people would say that, who are you to tell us, what is your position? So Krishna keeps clarifying his position, that as Supreme Lord, I do not do this, or I do not have to do that. Okay. So don't compare with me. Don't start comparing with me. Don't start blaming me also. So here Krishna is saying, I found this verse very funny, because Krishna says, Supreme Lord does not assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. This is the point we were discussing yesterday. When you are going through some difficulty, it's not that Krishna brought it on you. You brought it on yourself with your past activities. He did not bring it on you. You are stuck in this material world, so you are helpless. You have to follow the laws of this world. You did something bad, you got something bad in return. It's as simple as that. It has nothing to do with Supreme Lord. So he said, Supreme Lord does not assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Okay. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered. But he says, embodied being, I thought this is really interesting. The jivas, basically, They're bewildered, they're confused. He's already telling us people are very confused because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So ignorant people think that I am somehow to be blamed for their sinful or pious activities. I have nothing to do with any of this. But ignorant people, their real knowledge is covered, so they become bewildered and they think that Supreme Lord has something to do with their pap or punya. No, you did something good, you got something good in return. You did something bad, you got something bad in return. And you're just helplessly stuck in cycle of birth and death. And because of your own activities, you are just getting things back in return. This is the law. This is the software that has been fitted into this material world, and you're following that law. Now, this does not apply. Supreme Lord assumes anyone sinful or pious activity. This does not apply to devotees. This does not apply to surrendered souls. There, Krishna behaves in a very inconceivable way. But since we are talking about the laws of this world, um, when Krishna participates himself, the laws do not apply. But right now, Krishna is saying, I'm not participating in any of this. I'm not a participant of your activities. You're doing things on your own. एक क्या
Mataji,
बोलते हैं कि कृष्णा अगर तू मेरे नाम में तो मैं तेरे काम में अगर तू अपने काम में तो मैं अपने धाम में समथिंग लाइक दैट राइट so if you're chanting my names tab main tere kaam mein then I will participate in your life and interfere in your activities and make plans personally for you. Then Krishna will make personal plans for you, personal arrangements for you, personally participate and interfere in your life. But for ordinary people, when something good or bad is happening, it is just because of their own karmic reaction. So agar tu apne kaam mein to main bhi apne dham mein. So then he's aloof from you. So if you're not worried about him, you're not trying to approach him, he's also not trying to approach you. He's aloof.
yes, Mataji. It's a disclaimer, but we have to accept it, and slowly learning, then we will change our mindset.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, he, we are expecting some directions from Krishna.
Hmm. Okay, let's read this. Mataji, Sakshi Mataji, can you continue reading?
Yes, Mataji. The Sanskrit word Vibhu means the Supreme Lord who is full of unlimited knowledge, riches, strength, fame, beauty, and renunciation. He is always satisfied in himself, undisturbed by sinful or pious activities. He does not create a particular situation for any living entity, but the living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby his chain of action and reaction begins. A living entity is by superior nature full of knowledge. Nevertheless, he is prone to be influenced by ignorance due to his limited power. The Lord is omnipotent, but the living entity is not. The Lord is Vibhu or omniscient, but the living entity is Anu or atomic. Because he is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Such desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires, but the Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation which may be desired. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of the life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramatma or the Super Soul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul as one can smell the fragrance of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not, therefore, omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires, and the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute independent living entities. However, when When one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy.
Mataji, you can pause here for a little bit. Let's see the important lines from this purport. So one, Prabhupada is saying, we discussed this, he does not create a particular situation for any living entity. Living entity, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into certain conditions of life, and thereby the chain of actions and reactions begins. So basically we need to take accountability for things that are happening to us, are happening by our own actions. Okay. So there is no involvement of the Lord. Okay, that's one thing. So this point should be clear. And then Prabhupada is saying, I think we understand that Lord is unlimited, he's Vibhu, he's all-knowing, he's um, unlimited, he's infinite. And the Jiva is very small, so it's Anu, it's very limited knowledge, limited understanding, limited potencies and everything. So we are infinitesimal. So then Prabhupada says that when living entity is bewildered by desires, Lord allows him to fulfill those desires, but he's not responsible for the actions and reactions of the situations which may be desired. So whatever the living entity desires, remember that there are three doers. Lord will sanction those desires, okay, according to his karma. If according to the desires, if according to the karma of the jiva, the desires are meant to be fulfilled, then Lord will sanction them. Okay. If he has enough karmic credit, then the jiva will be able to fulfill his desires. Okay. So this again, he's just following the law. It's like a judge. So right now, Lord is not acting like a father here for this jiva. He's giving him whatever he wants because he has enough karmic credit. Okay. But he's not responsible for those acts. So within those desires, whatever he wants to do, the jiva does. And this part is clear that Jiva is identifying with the circumstantial material body and so becomes subjected to misery and happiness. This is the important point here that I wanted to bring to your attention, that Lord is neutral to everyone. So we understand that. Lord is neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute living entity. Okay, remember we talked about free will. So free will means that we can desire whatever we want. Okay, we are free, completely in charge of our desires. Lord does not interfere with the desire of the minute living entity. This is very important point. Okay. Then according to those desires, the jiva starts acting. Okay. And Lord will sanction those desires if we have enough credit. Okay. But if one desires Krishna, now remember that this concept that if one desires Krishna, now he will act not like a judge, not like a teacher, not somebody that is impartial and aloof, but rather somebody who's very involved, because now you're approaching him as a father, as a friend, and now he will give you his special guidance, his special arrangements, his plans, his interference in your life will start. So then Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way. Now he will encourage you to desire in such a way that you approach him. So once you start approaching him, he will make those desires strong in your heart so that you can attain him and be eternally happy. Let's read this last paragraph and then we'll stop. Can you finish it off, Mataji?
Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna consciousness, causes his own bewilderedness. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nuances. And under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Vedanta Sutra,
You can just read the English.
the Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to. Hare Krishna.
So this is the main crux of the matter. Under the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. Okay, so I think we can stop. A lot of points here. I hope that everything is clear. The main thing is to understand that we have this free will within which we can desire. Free will means minute independence. We are not completely independent like Lord, but we have minute independence within which we can desire. And remember that once we have some desire in our heart, we will start acting accordingly. So don't let the body act and become your master. Rather, be in control. Choose your actions, choose your desires very carefully. Okay. So, practical point is to understand when a desire comes in the heart, sift that desire, okay, nicely through the sieve of Krishna consciousness. Sift those desires and see which desires can be catered to, which desires need to be given up, and which desires should be aggressively pursued. Okay. Um, so those that are favorable, that are pleasing or somehow helpful in your spiritual journey, other people's spiritual journey, in any which way, relationships or contributing to the world in some way, if they are favorable, then you can take up those desires and then take actions accordingly, remembering that still those actions may not be completed if Krishna does not sanction. Okay, because your previous karmic credit may not be enough for you to get the result or complete the action. So if Krishna sanctions, the action will be completed, the desired result may or may not come. Either way, do the action for satisfaction of Krishna. In this way, live very, mindfully, thoughtfully, not letting the world and the body take over the consciousness and make it ignorant. Rather, the difference between ignorant and enlightened person is awake to the reality. He's not sleeping. He has woken up to the alarm clock of Bhagavad Gita. And so he's awake to the reality that I'm soul, I'm servant of Krishna. My goal is to go back to Godhead. And I have to live my life in such a way that it is pleasing to Krishna. I have to become free of all the entanglements, positive and negative reactions. From now on, I have to live life in such a way that I will not generate any more reactions, no more reactions, whether good or bad, which means every action should be done for satisfaction of Krishna. And the easiest way to do all this is to engage in 9 process of devotional service. So all this by itself separate sounds very difficult. How to keep your body pure, how to keep your mind clear, how to sift your desires, how to align your actions with will of Supreme. Everything separate, if you take, seems very difficult. But when you just start doing 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, Padsevanam, you can take up a few of these, couple of these, one of this very diligently. If you focus more and more on the 9 process of devotional service, all the other things happen automatically. So the desires will become cleansed automatically. The actions will become aligned with Krishna's will automatically. The bad desires will automatically go away. Tendency to give into urges of senses and mind will automatically go away. So actually the 9 limbs of devotional service are so pure, so powerful, so potent, so strong that all those things that people have to very carefully, very mindfully, thoughtfully do, they happen very spontaneously, very seamlessly, automatically for devotees because they attach themselves to Krishna through 9 limbs of devotional service. And that is why we need satsanga, like Ramchandra Prabhu was asking yesterday.
Yes.
So 9 limbs of devotional service is satsanga. So all these other things will happen. Otherwise, people struggle so much with mind control or with keeping their senses in control, keeping their anger in control. For each of this, people work separately very hard for controlling their speech, controlling their behavior, their conduct, their dealings, their relationships, so many things. Individually, if you start catering to each of this, it's very hard. But the 9 limbs of devotional service means adding Krishna very aggressively in your life, and then Krishna takes care of everything. So that's why
Yes,
Prabhupada
Mother.
talks about bhakti or 9 limbs from the very beginning. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I don't want to do the mistakes, but before this 514, 515 clarified. But again, I don't want to do the mistakes, Mataji, but sometimes suddenly taking the decisions. I thought of it as a good decision, but suddenly it converted as a bad, either for the health wise or relations wise or decision making in the project wise. It's very very difficult to taking doing the work based on my decisions. But I thought of it as a good decision, but suddenly it converted as a bad, and it giving a bad name. Sometimes bad friends are joining. I'm responsible for them. But how? But you mentioned that, yeah, I need to connect with Krishna, then give some. I go with the if I go with the consciousness means carefully, the decision making and the action, doing the action is very slow, Mataji.
Mm.
Sometimes my wife is saying you took the wrong decision, but she's always giving the caution. But even that time, Krishna say you are doing wrong. Can you change? But I cannot, Mataji. I will go my own direction. Please, yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji, yeah, I can share some thoughts and then other devotees can share. It's difficult unless know the specifics of the situation or what happened. But in general, I can speak. So I don't know where you're coming from, like what exactly is going on. But yes,
Adding friends. Someone will come and joining as a good friend. Later, they are converted as a very bad. If I know,
right.
then if I go back and see why I took the decision to connect with these people, now I'm facing consequences.
Hmm.
So I'm responsible for that, Mataji. But yeah, the decision making.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu, it's so this is how we learn, right? So this is what we were discussing yesterday also. We learn more when we make mistakes, when we fail, during struggles, we actually learn some lessons. So some things, situations happen in our life for our purification. Some people are sent as part of our, I was listening to this class recently. Some people, take you towards Krishna, and some people take you towards Krishna not because they're giving you positive association, but because they're giving you negative association. That's how they take you towards Krishna, because you are praying so hard to Krishna that this person just keeps giving me trouble and more trouble. Why is this person constantly? It's like the jaws of that crocodile, right? He's constantly giving me pain and hurt and over again, and he does not go away from my life, and there is no way that he will go away, and he just keeps giving difficulty after difficulty. So some people take you towards Krishna in that way also. So it will not always be devotees that take you, but sometimes the negative situations or negative people will take you in that way towards Krishna, because now you. But anyway, so that's jokes apart. We need these negative people in our life so we understand what we don't want to become like, and understand not to repeat those mistakes in future. But yes, if someone is harmful to your consciousness, then you may have to create some boundaries. You may have to have some discussion, or have a open-hearted conversation to set some boundaries, so that there is enough distance between you and those that may cause you harm. Yeah, please, I mean, take guidance of anybody that you think is your well-wisher and can guide you. Typically a well-wisher would be somebody who's also has some spiritual understanding, so they don't give you just short-term guidance. So somebody who's a well-wisher, who knows your situation and has some spiritual understanding also. You can take guidance from such people on how to um, avoid such people in your life, or how to create distance from them. Typically, everybody, I mean, I don't know what kind of people they are. Typically, nobody is just good or bad. Like, it's not black or white. Everybody's trying to do their best. So if you think that it's their swabhav, it's their conditioning, it's their nature, why they are, it may be okay to maintain distance but not break the relationship. Because whenever the time comes, if they are in a difficulty, need you you want not to break the bridge. You don't want to break the bridge, so that they can also come over to you and seek your help and guidance whenever needed, right? Whenever they want to transform, they want to change, you don't want to um break the relationship to the extent that they can never come back to you. So just create enough distance, but in a way that they can still find their way back to you if needed, but also in a way that you are not in their constant association, and so there is no negativity in your life on a daily or frequent basis.
Yes, ma'am.
Just some random thoughts, Prabhu. I'm again somebody close to you can guide you. You know the verse that we were supposed to remember today. Can we, if we have 2 minutes, can we recite that verse just 3 times? Because that verse is very apt for the situation that you're describing. It is 5.18. Some of you already know this verse. I'll stop the call and we'll just try to memorize this. Just 4 times we'll recite, and then you can recite on your own. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to stop the recording.